What's going on, everybody? It's your old pal Shred Riffs. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 must-know guitar techniques for metal guitar players. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. Alright guys, allow me to introduce to you the 5 must-know techniques for metal guitar playing. So I'm not referring to one specific subgenre of metal, although I mainly play death metal and black metal these days. I'm very well versed in progressive metal, gent styles, so I play 8-string guitar, as you guys have seen, those of you that watch this channel, metalcore, really any type of modern heavy guitar playing. The stuff that I talk about in this video is going to help you. So I broke it up into 5 different categories. The first technique that I think you should know is down picking and palm muting. Then we're going to talk about alternate picking, which also includes tremolo picking. And then we'll get into number 3, which is hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides. So just moving around the neck in different ways and using different articulations. The 4th one is kind of special and fun. That's going to be pinch harmonics. And last, we'll talk a little bit about sweep picking. So if you stick around to the end, I think you'll have a really solid palette of sounds and of techniques that you can apply to your own practice routines. Hey, we'll even talk about practice routines at the end of this video, and I'll give you guys some insight on that. So let's get started with down picking and palm muting. Here we go. Okay guys, so first we're gonna get into palm muting, but before we talk about that, I just wanted to let you know I'm using my trusty Kiesel Vader 8-string guitar. It's just a regular guitar with 2 extra low strings. I'm gonna try to play mostly in standard tuning because that's what most people play on when they're first starting out with guitar. But there's 6 strings here that I'm going to focus on, but occasionally I'll drop down to the low B string and then maybe even the low F sharp string to demonstrate some stuff. I am going straight into my Yamaha THR 30 wireless amp, which is great. It's just plugged directly out from the back of this amp into the interface, so you can hear what that sounds like in a second. And then I'm also using this X-Vive G2 wireless system, just for fun, basically. But that's what this little thing is here. So let's talk about down picking. What is down picking? It's basically when you take your pick and you just chug down on your lower strings of the guitar, which sounds like this. Most guitar players, when they first start by down picking literally everything that they play. And later on, we'll talk about alternate picking, and I can help you kind of get your foot in the door with that. What you need to do when you're playing metal guitar is you need to do this thing called palm muting, okay? That's where you rest the side of your hand up against the strings over here that are close to the bridge. And what it does is it kind of muffles the strings and creates this pressurized sound that makes the guitar go jun 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 like this. So let's check that out. One of the things that you probably noticed is that some of my notes are palm muted and some are not. But let me show you how you can get your foot in the door with down picking and getting faster and more accurate at down picking. So what I would suggest doing is using a metronome of some sort. You can just use your phone and download this app called Pro Metronome, or you can get a standalone metronome. This is the Tama Rhythm Watch. It's more of a drummer's metronome, but it's super great. What I would suggest doing is playing a variety of different subdivisions along with a metronome like this. So I'm at 120, and I'm gonna play half notes first, and then I'm going to play quarter notes, and then eighth notes, and then triplets and 16th notes. So you'll kind of hear me go through a whole range of different musical subdivisions. Here we go. So you can hear that down-picking 16th notes at 120 is even a struggle for a metal pro like me. What you want to do is start off slow with the metronome, find something that's comfortable, and really work on that sound. Try to develop that chugging sound at slower tempos, and then start to bring up the metronome, start playing smaller subdivisions of the beat like I just did. Start with whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and then get all the way up to 16th notes and try to get that really tight palm mute sound, but maintain accuracy, okay? And metal music is just built on rock and roll. It's just a more extreme version of rock and roll. So I would suggest getting good at playing power chords, right? So if playing metal seems like impossible to you, maybe start off with some punk songs, something that's very power chord heavy, and then add some palm muting to that. But down picking for me is the most important technique for anybody that's interested in playing metal. And you just want to work on getting that super tight chugging sound that sounds like this. Alright guys, coming in at number 2 is this thing called alternate picking, also known as tremolo picking. Tremolo picking is usually when you are just aggressively playing on both sides of the string with the pick as fast as you possibly can. But alternate picking usually refers to actually applying some type of rhythmic subdivision to that picking technique. So alternate picking just sounds like this. If playing on both sides of the string is a really huge challenge to you, I would start off by only playing with your right hand for a long period of time. Play all 6 strings up and down with the metronome in as many different ways as you can, like this. When you focus on one hand at a time, you're able to isolate the technique and try to do some real problem solving with that one hand. Then you can bring in the left hand and start to play things like this. This is a pattern from the system called the 24 fingerings. I have a couple videos on that system on this channel if you're interested in checking that out. What that basically does is teaches you finger independency on your left hand, but also gets your alternate picking up to a really high speed. Basically, you set speed goals for yourself each week. Practice for maybe 30 minutes to an hour every day, just working specifically on different 24 fingering patterns and picking at the same time. So that's going to look something like this. So I started off by playing 16th notes and playing each note 4 times from each finger, right? And then I kind of broke that up and did 2 times on each finger and then 1 time on each finger. Then I attempted to play some 16th note triplets at 120. That got a little crazy, but you can see where this kind of thing goes. You just have to start with the right hand only for a while and then start to bring in that left hand and play all of those patterns, all 24 patterns. If you make it through all of those, you're going to really open up a lot of doors for yourself with all the different riffs and things that are out there. Another thing to do would be to just learn your favorite metal song that uses that technique. Okay, tremolo picking is usually something that's referred to when you're playing lead guitar, but it sounds kind of like this. So you're just aggressively playing on one string at a time, and that's pretty easy to get into, right? So what I'm doing there is playing on the open B string, and then I'm just grabbing different notes from a scale, from the G major scale actually in that case, and it creates this sound called the B Phrygian sound, which you don't have to know what any of that means, but it's just something fun you can do on one string and kind of experiment with that tremolo picking thing. Another thing that I want to mention about alternate picking and tremolo picking is that you want your pick to actually be at a slight angle on the string. So, you know, I've taught this before on this channel, but what you want to do is let that pick sit on the side of your first finger and close it with your thumb. Your pick should point in the same direction as your first finger. You enclose the other fingers in a very kind of relaxed way, or as relaxed as you can be. And then you go to the guitar like this. The pick does not sit flat against the string like that. It's going to come in at an angle, and you're going to actually move your wrist like this. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just doing various exercises like that on each string. Rhythmic exercises can really start to get this technique to take off. Now, I will say when I'm doing tremolo picking, my elbow becomes a lot more important, so that I can play a lot faster and with a lot more power. So that would look like this. And you can play interesting melodies like that. It is kind of hard to jump from string to string. One little tip for you guys that are struggling with alternate picking, a little tip that my guitar teacher told me many years ago, and that's to focus on up picking only for a while. So if you turn your metronome on and you do your 24 fingerings practice, just up picking for a while can really help. Up, 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 up. One thing I noticed with a lot of new guitar players is that they play almost everything with down picking. So when you have them up pick, it poses a lot of new problems to them. And once they focus on just up picking only for a while, those problems start to go away, and then they can start playing on both sides of the string with a lot more ease. And that is really exciting to see a new player start to get that up picking thing going on in their playing, and it opens up a whole new world to them. So for those of you out there that idolize James Hetfield and are down pickers only, I would highly recommend just spend some time up picking for a while, and you'll be amazed by what you can do when you just focus on up picking. It's gonna be great. Just trust me, just try it. Okay, technique number 3 is going to be different articulations like hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides, okay? This is something that is more left-hand focused than right-hand. So far we've talked about down picking, alternate picking, tremolo picking. That's all right-hand stuff. Let's talk a little bit more about the left hand. So what I would suggest doing if you want to get better at hammer-ons and pull-offs is take something like the A minor pentatonic scale, and you play hammer-ons on the way up, pull-offs on the way down. That's gonna sound like this. And then pull-offs on the way down. Okay, so those are quarter notes. Now here's eighth notes. Eighth note triplets. And then 16th notes, right? So if you work your way through all of those different subdivisions with hammering on and pulling off, you can build a lot of rhythmic stuff with your left hand and get a lot of finger strength built up. Now, if you just want to work on finger strength, I would practice doing hammer-ons and pull-offs between each fingers, and that's going to look something like this. That is something that will really help you. You should try that on every possible string and every fret, up on the higher frets and the lower frets. And if you can do that rhythmically and with all of those different subdivisions that we discussed already, you'll have a lot of great left hand rhythmic stuff happening in your playing. Okay, another one that you will find yourself needing to know a lot in metal guitar playing are slides, okay? Not just for lead guitar playing, but for riffs, right? If you don't know how to slide a power chord yet, right? It's easy to slide with one finger for the most part. It's fairly easy to know how to slide with one finger, but knowing how to slide with all three fingers of a power chord. So that's one way you could do it. You could also just go up to the 12th fret and do a little Tony Iommi action up here. Now, with all of these different techniques, you could, of course, learn a metal song and have a lot of fun learning that song and learning all the different techniques that are associated with whatever particular tune it is that you're learning. But I think what you'll find is that it doesn't sound correct or something. Like there might be some problems with your playing. So what I would suggest doing is going through all of these different techniques that I'm discussing in this video and isolate each one for maybe 30 minutes or an hour. And I think by the end of that 30-minute or hour session, you'll notice that you've improved at that one thing. You have to give yourself the opportunity to learn these techniques one by one. And if you're patient and if you try each of these techniques one at a time, I think that you'll notice that you can get them down. The problems that I find with a lot of my students is that they're trying to focus on so many different things at once, and they're trying to accomplish way too much in one scoop, right? So you can't eat an elephant in one bite, right? You need to cut that into different steaks, right? And take one little bite at a time. In my opinion, this is how you accomplish more in your practice sessions. Just focus on one of these techniques at a time. Okay, guys, the fourth technique that we're going to talk about in this video is pinch harmonics. This is a really fun one. I like to use pinch harmonics in my own riffs ad nauseum, okay? I think they sound cool. I think it's a great way to kind of get your riffs to pop out a lot more because the pitch of the riff will go way up high, right? Versus being low. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, let me just demonstrate what this technique is. Some notable guitar players that are pinch harmonic pros would be guys like Eric Rutan, Dean Lamb, and Zakk Wylde. Okay, Zakk Wylde, you can't listen to a single riff by him and not hear a pinch harmonic. So let's talk about what this technique, okay? So what is happening when a pinch harmonic is sounded? Well, part of your thumb, like the side flesh of your thumb, is hitting the string shortly after your guitar pick does. And what that does is it creates an artificial harmonic up here on the instrument, okay? You might have noticed when you kind of run your fingers across the strings, there's all of these harmonics that happen. To sound a pinch harmonic, we're just gonna play on the low E string. To sound a pinch harmonic, I'm picking the string and then a little bit of my finger is touching right after, and it looks like this. And you notice how the sound changes depending on what pickup I'm playing or what position I'm playing between the two pickups of the guitar. And you can actually achieve this on any string, and it sounds really cool on the higher strings too. So how do you practice pinch harmonics? Well, you really just have to sit there for a while and fiddle around with your pick and that side part of your finger and try to get that flesh of your finger to brush up against the string. I would recommend using the bridge pickup of the guitar, using quite a bit of gain from your amplifier. So turn the gain all the way up. It'll just make things a little bit easier for you. Really try to pick that string kind of hard almost, and then try to follow it with your flesh of the thumb on your right hand, okay? The flesh of the finger. And you don't want to leave the flesh on the string. You want to just slice it, like play right through that string. So that last technique where I'm actually playing on the G string. I stole that idea from Joe Satriani. He did this thing on the Live in San Francisco DVD. He's playing like this silver guitar, and he does this dive bomb thing actually with a lot of delay. And then he like looks out into the audience like this, like he's looking for somebody, and does the dive bomb. It's the most ridiculous thing you'll ever see, and it's amazing, okay? That blew my mind as a young guitar player, and I was like, I have to know how to do pinch harmonics like right now. I have to learn that technique. So I really got into it after that point. Okay guys, the fifth and final technique that we're gonna talk about in this video is sweep picking. Okay, this is a lot more advanced. I feel like players really struggle with sweep picking, and so I tried to really focus on that a lot on my channel. Okay, I even have a whole like 20-minute video teaching you just how to sweep pick if you want to check that out. But in this video, I'm just gonna go over the basics. So what sweep picking is when you push your pick through multiple strings using that momentum, okay? So it's not this, okay, where I'm just picking down, 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 or up, 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 like that. It's literally this, okay? And I think the motion of sweep picking really comes from your elbow, and you're really just kind of slicing. That is a 6-string, 1 note per string sweep that I just did there. But most people start on 2 strings and 3 strings and kind of go from there. So a 2-string sweep would be this A minor one here. I'm on the 10th fret on the B string, and I'm going. When I play that, it starts off as down, down, up, okay? And then a roll kind of forms from that motion. So it's down, down, up, and then it's up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up after that. And you can make this really cool roll out of it. So that is a little chord progression that I usually show my students when they first want to learn how to sweep pick, and then they can expand upon that and play things like this. Alright guys, at this point in the video, I want to talk a little bit about practice routines and how you can make rapid improvement at all of these techniques that I've just mentioned in this video. I would suggest that for most people, you need to practice guitar for at least 2 hours a day if you're really serious. If you want to start playing in a band, or if you want to start making metal YouTube covers in your room or something, and you want to see real results on the instrument. I think 2 hours a day is kind of like a minimum to a solid foundation of practice time. So what I would do with that 2 hours is this. I would spend about 30 minutes on one particular technique. For example, let's say you're working on your down picking. I would spend about 15 minutes just playing along with the metronome, and then I would spend 15 minutes experimenting with palm muting and different sounds and moving power chords around the guitar neck, okay? Or look up a riff that you're interested in learning and try to learn that riff. A good one to start with if you're into metal is Paranoid by Black Sabbath, okay? Because it has a little bit of palm muting and it's got some hammer-ons. It's just a great place to start learning metal guitar. So Iron Man, Paranoid, those are two classic metal songs that I think a lot of people out there can start learning right away. If that's too hard, you might have to go back to Seven Nation Army and get into that. Okay, with the next 30 minutes in your routine, I would take a look at alternate picking, okay? And if alternate picking seems impossible to you for starters, try up picking only for about 15 minutes. With the metronome, just try to play up, up with like a slow tempo, like 80 to 100 beats per minute. Try to play quarter notes and just do up picks on every string, okay? Once you get that down, maybe start playing eighth notes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just make sure that your pick is coming in at the string at an angle. It's not perfectly flat. And so you might have to experiment a little bit with your right hand, with your picking angle, how you're holding that pick. How I showed you earlier in the video should be great for most people. After that, what I would do is experiment more with tremolo picking and just moving that rapid elbow movement on just different strings. Try to make your own melodies, just one string melodies, okay, guys? Don't be jumping around to all the different strings yet. Just try to play some interesting sounding melodies just on one string using that rapid tremolo picking movement. And I think you'll be surprised at what you can accomplish within, 15 minutes. We've got an hour left of practice time, so that's the first hour. The next 30 minutes, I want you to work on your left hand finger strength. So that is hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides. So 15 minutes on hammer-ons and pull-offs, and then 15 minutes on sliding around the guitar neck, okay? That is what I would work on for that next 30 minutes or so. Okay, for beginning guitar players, I don't think it's that important to worry about pinch harmonics and sweep picking yet. Of course, if you're really obsessed with needing to know about pinch harmonics like I was, go for it, man. Jump in, try to get that slice. You're hitting the string with your pick, and then you're following that up with a little bit of flesh from the side of your thumb on your right hand, and then you're getting off the string, okay? And then a pinch harmonic should sound. Just experiment with different spots between your two humbucker pickups on your guitar. If you don't have humbuckers, that's fine, but just move from the right to the left for a while and try to get some different sounds. For the last 30 minutes, I would just suggest learning a song that you're really interested in learning. Learn something that inspires you, okay? Could be a Black Sabbath song like I mentioned. There's a lot of easy to play heavy songs out there. POD Southtown is another just really easy, like 3-chord song that you should be able to learn, and you can practice palm muting and down picking and things like that. I hope you guys learned something new in this video. Hopefully you got some fresh ideas for some different techniques to work on if you're interested in metal guitar playing. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for checking this out. On this channel, I release 3 videos a week. Usually one comes out every Tuesday, and then Friday morning and Saturday morning I have videos come out. I've got a lot of killer pedal demos on this channel with some of my original music that I'm making in all of those videos. If you like what I'm doing on this channel and you learned something new in this video today, please hit the like button. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what helped you. If you have any other thoughts or tips for other players out there, drop those in the comments below. Let's try to help each other out on this channel and spread the good word of metal. Bless a brother out there today by sharing your metal knowledge. So once again, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.